Hey, welcome back to Serving Truth Podcast with Tyra. So, of course, I'm your host, Tyra. And so, for today, I'm actually going to go into a piece of my podcast that I honestly just discovered in this past week. And I kind of want to give you guys some background. So, as I've said previously, this is God's podcast, for one. And God spoke to me in between me completing my last episode and completing this episode, what I'm going to incorporate into my interviews as I interview his people. Because if I'm being honest with y'all, I was just like, you know what, Lord, I'm going to start with let's do an episode of how I got here. Maybe that'll, get me started on, what you're calling me to do. Because truly, Lord, I don't know exactly how you want me to flow in this podcast, but I also want to be obedient, so I'm going to start. And so that's how I completed the first episode. And in between me, again, completing that episode and doing this episode, God spoke to me very clearly on how he wants me to proceed. And that includes a God did moment. What do I mean by that? A God did moment is a moment where God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit came through for you in a way that only he could have. Like literally, only God can do it. Like, yes. So I decided for episode 2, I thought it was appropriate for me to give my God did moment. And we're going to just jump right into it. So, my God did moment. This moment happened and it was about May 2022. And I had, so wow, I had recently, I was going out, that's what it was. I was going out with a group of friends and we were going to the club. Disclaimer, your girl was still outside. If you remember, I said October 2022 is when I gave God my yes. May 2022, sis was still outside. Okay. And so during this time, I had went out with a group of friends to a club, and we had some other friends at the club, some male friends at the club that had got a section. So we were meeting them in the section. We planned to, do what you do at the club. I mean, it is what it is. And so after we went to the club was over. I was going back to my car, about to go home, because at this point in my life, I'm not one of them people. No, we not going to Walmart. We not going to the parking lot at Waffle House. Your girl going home. And so I was getting back to my car, about to go back to my parents' house because I was actually in Fayetteville at the time. Getting back to my car, I parked at the back of the parking lot of said club. And in this parking lot was some other people that was just chilling. Now, if you know anything about Fayetteville, North Carolina, it's apparently a thing. I don't know if this is a thing in other cities in North Carolina or in the South in general. But after the club, people go in the parking lot, sit on their hoods or whatever the case may be. They just chilling. They just chilling in the parking lot. Whether it be Walmart, whether it was a skating ring, whatever it was, that's where everybody would do. And so in this particular situation, it was some guys, some young YNs. I'm calling some YNs. If you don't know what a YN is, it is a young black male, typically black, that is TTG, trained to go. They down to do whatever. They don't play. They don't care about your life, or they just don't play. And it's no judgment. I'm just, you know what I'm saying, giving you context. And so I'm coming back to my car, right? And my homegirls, they drove separately. And so they parked a couple cars over. We were all in the same row. And so I'm coming back to my car. There was a best friend of mine, a male best friend. He passed away actually about a month after this took place, and it still tugs at my heart. But he was one of my male friends, very close. You know, we didn't have to talk every day, but anytime I was back home, he was back in the city, whatever the case may be, we would catch up. You know, he was one of the closer guys to me as a platonic friendship. And so he was lit. I ain't even gonna hold you. He was lit. And he was parked somewhere else. And he came and swerved and parked right beside where I was and my homegirls were. And I see him park and get out the car like he is clearly upset. He had a situation going on with his girlfriend at the time. Not gonna go there for right now. Anyway, But he had a situation going on and he was upset about that. And he was just kind of lit. And so the guys that were in the parking lot, they, again, TCG, they don't care about nothing. And somehow there was some sort of interaction. And next thing I know, words are starting to be exchanged. As words are starting to be exchanged, I see my two homegirls take off. And I'm like, where y'all going? Like, what's happening? And I just recognize them going back and forth. And I'm like, I know my homeboy is, he drunk, or not even drunk, just like when he gets lit, he ready to go off. He ready to turn up. If you know him, I'm trying not to say names, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And so he one of those people that didn't play. Like, he was ready to go. Like, they're trying to see me, Ty. They're trying to see me. They can see me. And I'm like, ain't nobody trying to see you. I'm going to need you to chill. So as I start walking up to this other group of guys, it's like 3 or 4 of them, right? As I start to walk up, I see. Now, I'm going to pause and say this. I'm a pretty observant person. I pay attention to my surroundings. Like, I've been taught to do that. I try to face, when I'm sitting at a restaurant, I try to face the exit. Like, you never know. You need to be ready. So it is nothing but God that dismissed me. So as I'm like trying to calm the guys down, like I have my friend on this side, the guys are over here, and I'm like trying to walk toward them and like let them know it's not even like that. We all good. He about to, get in the car. He about to go. I'm about to go. We about to go. Like, don't even worry about it. In the midst of me having this conversation, I noticed I'm going to say it was an AK. I mean, bruh had this in his hand like it was a super soaker. Like, it looked like a super soaker, but it was not a super soaker. I'm like, when I tell y'all, I got so weak. Instantly, I was like, oh Lord. I was so like, almost just, I don't know, heart drop. I'm like trying to calm myself down because what is about to happen? Jesus, I need you right now. So I just continue to try and calm them down. I'm looking this way like, shut up and get in the car. Like, I'm giving him whole black mom face, get in the car. Like, shut your whole mouth, get in your car. And I'm talking to them like, please calm down. And they were so understanding. That was nothing but God. If you know anything about guys in Fayetteville with this, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't care about my life, your life, this life, that life. And the way my friend was talking, it would have been nothing for them to just be like, pop, pop, going. And come, just continue with their life. So I'm just like, if you don't close your daggone mouth. He finally stops going back and forth with them. He gets in the car. He swerves off. Next thing I know, I see my homegirl. And you know what? I don't even judge them. Like, clearly this is all God. Because when it first happened, I'm like, when I found out what was going on, clearly it was too late. I couldn't run. But I'm like, y'all ain't tell me. Like, typically, you see black folks running, you start running too. But things were happening so quick. I'm trying to talk to them. He moving and talking. It was just a lot happening. But I see them dart from behind this dumpster that was right there and run back to their cars. They swerve. I get out of there. I swerve. And we go home. That was a God did moment. Like I said, I'm very observant. So I would have noticed the gun and would have been right with my homegirls gone. Like, forget the car, forget all of that. I'll come back tomorrow at this point. Baby, I need my life. And so the fact that I didn't see it until I'm like engaging with them and walking up trying to calm them down, I know had I ran behind that dumpster, my friend probably would have died right in front of my face because I could tell how they were moving and how, like, what they were on. They didn't care. Like, this is probably what they do. You know what I'm saying? So I know it was nothing but God that did not allow me to see that they had a whole gun. And it was more than one gun, but that was the one I saw. And it's like right in my face as I'm walking up. And so I say that to say that was probably my most unhinged God did moment because he covered me and my male best friend, and we were both able to go home safe. And I remember texting him that night. I'm not even gonna put this screenshot of the text, but I'm like, I almost died behind you tonight because you want to run your mouth or something like that. And he was like, I know, Ty, I love you. Thank you so much, or whatever like that. And so yeah, that was a very unhinged, only God could do it moment. And so, that being said, pulling together, how I said from last episode to this episode, God gave me, the whole God did moment. And that's what I'm going to include as part of my interviews. My STP of the day, my servant truth point of the day, is you need to start whatever God is calling you to start. It's actually piggybacking off what I said last episode, but it's taking it a step further. We need to start whatever God is calling us to start, do whatever God is calling us to do. And in our doing, he gives us clarity. In our doing, he speaks. In our doing, he gives us further instruction. But he's not going to give us more instruction if we didn't move on the first thing he said. A lot of people say they're not hearing from God. They don't know if God is speaking to them. I would say to you, what is the last thing God told you to do? Whatever the last thing God told you to do, if you move in that, he will speak to you. He will give you guidance on what to do next. This makes me think about Abraham. So Abraham in the Bible, he was told to go. Pack up his family, pack up his things, and leave his father's land and go to a land God will show him. God didn't say what land. God didn't say go east, west, north, or south. God didn't say nothing but go. And what did Abraham do? Abraham went. He packed everything up and he went. And in his going, in his movement, in his obedience, God spoke to him his next step. And he revealed to him, okay, this is where I'm calling you to go. This is what I'm calling you to do. And God laid it all out for him. But had Abraham not packed, had Abraham not got his family and all his livestock and everything together and went, God probably wouldn't have said nothing else because you didn't do what I told you to do to start with. And that's a lot of people that find themselves in that same situation. God told you exactly what to do. You just haven't listened. You just haven't taken what he said and did it because maybe you're thinking, well, that doesn't make sense to me. Well, none of this really comes together. Well, maybe I'm supposed to wait for further instruction or whatever the case may be. No. God told me to start a podcast. Maybe I started a podcast. Again, I did not know when God told me to start this podcast. I did not know when I did my first episode how everything was really going to flow. But I said, you know what? Let me just start with telling people how I got here, how I got to the point where I am doing a podcast to start with. And perhaps as I flow, I'll figure it out. And again, between episode 1 and me completing this episode, God told me exactly what I needed to do. And it was very clear to me, and I thank God for speaking to me so I have more clarity on what I'm supposed to do. And so, yes, that's today's STP of the day. You need to move in obedience, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it's only one instruction, so that he can continue to give you further instruction after you listen to the first thing. And so that's all I have for today. I know this is a shorter episode for today. Definitely be on the lookout for further interviews. I am really excited about how God is going to move on this podcast. I'm excited to hear different stories about, the people that I interview and their God did moments, because not only does it show you how good God is, it's also an encouragement to say, if he can do it for them, he can do it for me. God is not a respecter of persons. If God can do it for me, he can definitely do it for you. And so I hope on this podcast, you're able to take from the experiences and from the situations that are brought up and pull from those and say, you know what? God got me. I'm going to be okay. And that's all I have for today. Thank you guys again, and I will see you next time.